Heyo, what's up, y'all? It's your boy Ace. This is Fantasized Football. We are back once again, bringing y'all some more fantasy football content for the 2021 fantasy football season. And today, I'm doing something a little different again. Yeah, we're diversifying shit a little bit around here. But before I tell you what we're talking about, who we're talking about, whatever it may be, I did have to quickly give a shout out to each and every one of y'all that come by on a weekly basis, show your boy some love and support. Hold on, let me fix that there, Mike, a little bit. Thank you. I appreciate you. You honestly are the best. Yeah, I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And if you're new to the channel, thank you for coming by, giving me a little bit of your time. Seriously, it's so cool that you would take a little time out of your day to click on this here video and spend a little time, talk about some fantasy football with the young boy. If you do enjoy this video, make sure to drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Over 80% of y'all that watch my videos are not subscribed to the channel. And I have one question for you. Why? Why? It's free. It costs you nothing. It's clicking a button, hit the notification bell as well, leave a like, drop a comment. It really, really helps the channel grow. Please help me reach my goal of 300 subscribers on YouTube by the end of the fantasy football season. But yes, what we're going to be talking about today is kind of some news, some just like updates, like some things that have really struck me from the preseason and from camp and from practices, things of that nature. I got 6 things, a few honorable mentions that we're going to talk about. So without further ado, let's just get right into the video. Now, the first thing I want to talk about, the first player I want to talk about is Myles Gaskin of the Miami Dolphins. Now, we're going to look at this in terms of kind of like risers, fallers, whatever it may be. And I guess you could call Gaskin a little bit of a faller, right? Because in the first preseason game, Malcolm Brown was the starter. And then Miami has come out and they've said, hey, we're going to use multiple backs this season. So Malcolm Brown, Salvon Ahmed, and Myles Gaskin. But do not fret, because Myles Gaskin is far and away the best running back on this roster. It is not a competition. This was shown in the last preseason game where he scored 2 touchdowns on limited touches. I think that his talent is going to shine through. He will be the best guy on this team. And if that's the case, Flores is not a dumb ass. He's going to use Myles Gaskin. Currently, Gaskin's going in like the back half of the 4th round. I mean, this is right around where he's been going. I expect his ADP to dip a little bit as more reports come out that, hey, we're going to use multiple backs, whatever. And I think where he's being drafted right now maybe is like a wee bit too early. I like him better in like kind of the 5th round, which is where you can get him in like 10-team leagues. But if his ADP continues to drop a little bit and he's available in the 5th round in 12-team leagues, that's where I think is a money spot for Gaskin. There is a little bit of risk involved, but the upside is there. He is the best back on this team. That should be an improved offense this season. Tua coming into his 2nd year. We know he's capable as a wide receiver. He should see the majority of the valuable touches for this team. Maybe Malcolm Brown takes away a little goal line work early on in the season. But if we're being honest, Malcolm Brown kind of just fucking stinks, and Myles Gaskin is a lot better, so he should shine through and take over as the main back. But Myles Gaskin, kind of a little bit of a faller. If you want to take a shot at Malcolm Brown late in one of your drafts in a deeper league, go ahead and knock yourself out. I would not be doing that, though. Now, moving on to the second piece of news, player we want to talk about, that is Michael Carter of the New York Jets, and he is a bit of a riser. Now, Michael Carter is, in my opinion, the best back in this offense, a lot like Myles Gaskin is for the Dolphins. You have Tevin Coleman, you have Ty Johnson, guys that are not really not competent, but they're not really studs by any means, or guys that I'm too concerned with, right? Michael Carter looks like he has the opportunity to be the lead back in this offense, evidenced by in the first 2 preseason games, he had 8 and 11 touches. So they're looking like they are priming him to be more involved. He should be the primary passing downs guy as well. For me, I'm kind of fading the Jets as a whole, but Michael Carter is the one guy that kind of intrigues me. But what's kind of scary is based on ADP right now, half PPR ADP, he's going like back of the 6th, early 7th round, and that's just a little too soon for me. I mean, 8th round, late 7th, maybe 8th round, if you're going with like kind of a like a modified RB0 approach, maybe you could go with Michael Carter in the late 6th round. But for me, I look at him as kind of more of a 7th, 8th round guy. There's not much competition there. He should be the primary pass catching guy in an offense that's probably going to have to throw the ball quite frequently. And if he could get 230 total touches. You know, you figure if he could get 50 catches, 170, 180 carries, he should have some decent value for fantasy football in 2021. So that is it on Michael Carter. And let's move on to the third piece of news, the third player that we have to talk about, an unfortunate one. That is Ja'Marr Chase of the Cincinnati Bengals, who is unfortunately a bit of a faller, but this one has some fucking layers to it. So we're going to get right into that now. Apparently, Ja'Marr Chase is having some issues with drops, right? Not only in the last preseason game against Washington, where he got 3 targets and dropped all 3 of them, but apparently he's been having these issues in practice as well. As Paul Denner of The Athletic, I hope I pronounced that right, Paul Denner of The Athletic reported that in practice he has been having a lot of these same issues with drops. Now, this is something that he could very easily just this could be just like a little jitters thing or whatever, and he's just getting acclimated. It was his first couple preseason games, whatever, right? I'm not too concerned about this, but what this could mean is that he could lose some snaps early on. Denner also reported that to Auden Tate or whoever else the Bengals have as outside wide receivers, and if that's the case, then this is where T. Higgins comes into play, and T. Higgins could be a big benefactor of that. If Ja'Marr Chase isn't on the field as much early on, Higgins has an opportunity to overtake him as the true alpha on this offense early on, and if him and Burrow are connecting, they develop more chemistry. Maybe Burrow targets him more frequently, because I was looking at this as kind of like a 1A, 1B, where Higgins may very well be the 1B, but if he's got that opportunity early on, that could shoot him into that role as the 1A. I already love T. Higgins. He is going to be a riser, while Ja'Marr Chase is a faller. I already loved Higgins, so I couldn't really move him up in my rankings because I have him so much higher than consensus already, but big news for Higgins. Also pretty good for Tyler Boyd. I mean, Tyler Boyd is he's the slot guy, so he kind of plays a different role. He's still going to get peppered, but if it's Higgins and Auden Tate instead of Ja'Marr Chase, that could mean more targets early on in the season for Tyler Boyd as well. So that could mean also he would be a riser in turn. But yes, moving on from Ja'Marr Chase into the fourth player piece of news we have to talk about. That is my boy, Robbie Anderson of the Carolina Panthers, who is in fact a riser, and he's also a bag getter because my boy just got a 2-year, nearly $30 million extension from the Panthers. Now, this is obviously good for Anderson because they're paying him big money. I think it's very much so in the range of outcomes that Robbie Anderson ends up as the target leader for the Carolina Panthers this season. He just got paid all this money. He had a good year last season where he was the target leader, if I'm correct. I believe he was. And then he's being reunited with Sam Darnold, who obviously has a rapport with him from the New York Jets days when they were together. Now, McCaffrey is back. DJ Moore is there, obviously. They drafted Terrace Marshall to presumably replace Curtis Samuel in this offense. So there are a lot of mouths to feed, but I expect this team to have to throw the ball quite frequently. So it should be kind of a target funnel between those 4 guys, mostly being Christian McCaffrey, DJ Moore, and Robbie Anderson. So if you assume that they're throwing the ball over 600 times this season in 17 games, which I would expect, it is absolutely within the range of outcomes that all 3 of those players are around 120, 130 targets, because the rest of the targets can just get distributed amongst whoever else is on the team. And I think Robbie Anderson is a great option, especially in PPR. Right now, I think he's a great value. This is a bit concerning for DJ Moore. I wouldn't necessarily consider him a faller, but clearly the Panthers, that is, look at Robbie Anderson as a very integral part of the team based on the money that they did just pay him. So it is a little concerning for DJ Moore, but like I just said, I expect this to be a funnel between Moore, Robbie Anderson, and Christian McCaffrey. Now, moving on to our fifth point, our fifth piece of news, our fifth player we need to talk about. That is Sony Michel of now the LA Rams. Now, Sony Michel was traded from the Patriots to the Rams for a couple late round picks. That's all I know at this point. Now, I don't think this is super concerning for Henderson because I personally don't think Sony Michel is a very good running back. But it could be, right? So Sony Michel's obviously a riser because he was a cut candidate just a few weeks ago for the Patriots. Now he has new life for the Rams. Who this is more, not concerning for, but more of a blow to is Xavier Jones, whatever his name is, and Jake Funk. The two guys that were kind of competing for that backup role from Henderson. It could also be concerning for Henderson. We're going to have to keep an eye on this one. Again, this is another one with a lot of layers, just like the past two have been, where you have to like kind of look out on this because it is possible that Sony Michel and Darrell Henderson are kind of splitting snaps. They want to keep Henderson healthy. Henderson's been injured his first two seasons. He just had that thumb injury as well. So I did move Henderson down a little bit, but for me with Sony Michel as of right now, if you're in a deep league, take a shot on him. If it does come out though that he is going to be kind of like they're going to be like a 1A, 1B in this backfield where it's going to be splitting touches, Henderson and Sony Michel, he would be worth a late round pick to at least take a shot on. I don't think he'll take away much work in the passing game, but he could be getting some goal line touches, so he should have some semblance of value if he does get that role in an offense that should be very potent this season. Like I said, this does muddy the late round hype on Xavier Jones. Jake Funk wasn't really getting as much, but now with Sony Michel in the picture, it is very possible that he is at least the number 2 running back on his team, if not the 1B to Darrell Henderson's 1A. Now, moving on to the last piece of news, the last player we need to talk about before the honorable mentions, that is Teddy Two Gloves Bridgewater of the Denver Broncos. Big time riser, another one with a whole bunch of layers here. Now, Teddy Bridgewater was named the starter for the Denver Broncos. This is great for Teddy, and it is great for all the pass catchers. Now, in one quarterback leagues, we're not going to be targeting Teddy Bridgewater, obviously. He could be a decent streaming option and good matchups. But for 2 QB leagues, Superflex leagues, Teddy Bridgewater is a pretty good QB2 and a great option as your QB3 in those formats. Now, if you are going to go with Teddy Bridgewater, I would suggest looking into drafting Drew Lock and stashing him on your bench because the team has been very vocal about this being an open competition throughout the offseason. So if Teddy Bridgewater is screwing up, the team isn't doing as well, then Drew Lock could take over. Now, as for everyone else on this team, this is great. Everyone else on the Broncos, other than Drew Lock, obviously, is a riser here. Is that my dog? Is that my dog? Shit, maybe my dog's here. I don't know. Maybe he is. Maybe he isn't. But anyways, this is great for all the Broncos skill players, especially Jerry Jeudy, because Jerry Jeudy is very good at getting fucking open. And Teddy Bridgewater is the type of player that's a smart quarterback. He's smart, so he's going to throw to an open man, where Courtland Sutton is more of a go-up-and-get-it guy. I mean, I still think it's better for Sutton because I think Teddy Bridgewater is the better quarterback out of the two, but very good for Jerry Jeudy, good for Sutton, good for Noah Fant, good for both running backs, Javonte Williams, Melvin Gordon. For the offense as a whole, I expect them to be a much better offense with Teddy Bridgewater at the helm this season. And on top of that, we've seen what Teddy Bridgewater can do based on last season supporting 3 relevant fantasy wide receivers in DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, Curtis Samuel, and a running back that was involved in the passing game in Mike Davis. So he can do just that. Again, there's no reason to believe otherwise in Denver. But that is my 6 biggest takeaways, biggest kind of pieces of news, player updates that I wanted to relay over to you guys that I've been taking away from the past couple of weeks of preseason, camp, practice, all that good shit. Now, a few honorable mentions. Obviously, James Robinson. Didn't want to go too much into that because we talked about that earlier this week in an individual player analysis video. ETN's out for the season. Robinson next man up. If you want more details, check out that video. We have DeAndre Swift, who may miss week 1. And this is obviously a big deal if that's the case. This is per head coach Dan Campbell. But I'm not looking too far into this until I hear for sure that DeAndre Swift is going to miss week 1. So moderate that. Adam Troutman avoids a major injury to his leg, his foot, whatever it may have been. Good for Troutman. Not great for Traquan Swift and Marquez Callaway because obviously that means that Troutman will be getting more targets or whatever. But on the other end of things, with our last honorable mention, per Ian Rappaport, famous Jameis is the leader in the quarterback competition for the Saints, which is a big riser for everyone on the Saints. We want Jameis Winston for Kamara, for Traquan, for Marquez Callaway, for Adam Troutman, for whoever else, and eventually for Michael Thomas when he comes back. This is great news. Love to see it. I would love to see Jameis Winston get another opportunity to be the starting quarterback for an NFL team. And it is looking like, per Rappaport at least, that will be the case. Now, that is all my honorable mentions. Real quick, we'll just recap. Myles Gaskin, a little bit of a faller. Michael Carter, bit of a riser. Jamar Chase, a little bit of a faller. But T. Higgins, big-time riser here. Tyler Boyd, little-time riser here. Robbie Anderson, riser. DJ Moore, little bit of a faller. We got Sony Michel, a bit of a riser. Terrell Henderson, we'll have to see. Keep an eye on that one. Xavier Jones, Jake Funk, little bit of fallers. You got Teddy Bridgewater, a riser. Good for 2QB, good for Superflex, not targeting him in one quarterback leagues. Great for all the Broncos skill players, not good for Drew Lock. And then in terms of the honorable mentions, Robinson, up. ETN out for the season, obviously out of the picture. DeAndre Swift, we're going to have to monitor that, but as of right now, faller. We have Adam Troutman. I mean, he's still hurt, so kind of faller. Not great for Marquez Callaway and Traquan Smith. But Jameis Winston, riser, great quarterback for 2QB in Superflex leagues. Again, like we mentioned with Bridgewater and Locke, might want to grab Taysom Hill just to be safe because Jameis Winston has been known to fuck up. But this is great for all the Saints skill position players if Jameis Winston is the quarterback. But that is it. That is all. That is all there is. That is the video for today. Those are the bits of news that struck me that I wanted to relay to you guys, kind of take a little deeper dive into. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Let me remind you again, over 80% of y'all that watch my videos are not subscribed. Just hit the subscribe button. It's free, man. Get notified. Hit that bell, man. Check out the links to the socials down in the description, the podcast, whatever. Help me reach my goal of 300 subscribers on YouTube by the end of the fantasy football season. I would really, really appreciate it. But that's it. That's all. That's all there is. Me, my boy, we are out for today. We will catch y'all next time. And as always, thank you, love you, peace.